Behind me is one of the cleverest cars of the immediate post-war era. This is a Lancia Aprilia. It was the final design by Vincenzo Lancia himself. He died in 1937, February 1937, exactly when this car was launched. He never got to see it become something of a sales success for Lancia, although, as we'll see, still in fairly piecemeal numbers compared to the legendary Traction Avant. And I mention that Citroën because, of course, that is lauded for being one of the first mass-produced monocoque construction cars, no separate chassis. This uses the same principles, but so did the Lambda in the 1920s. Lancia were well ahead of the game. We've got a narrow angle V4 engine up front to deliver punchy power, a crash gearbox with no synchromesh on it at all, but still beautifully engineered. And then this styling. The Polytechnic University in Turin, which is now where Lingotto is, the famous Fiat racetrack, helped hone the design. And it's one of the most aerodynamic little cars of its time, which meant even though it has a 1.3 litre engine, it could apparently do 80 miles an hour. So while the Citroën was, yes, front wheel drive, the Lancia retained rear wheel drive at this point, with a little V4 engine up front. It meant a very compact power plant. It didn't stick out too far forward. And if you look at the styling, we really have got a wheel at every corner. The styling at the back, I remember seeing these cars as a child and being confused because that says to me Volkswagen Beetle, yet the engine is not here, just a little boot. But look at the details, the way Lancia Aprilia is let into the lighting here, the tiny little rear windows. But of course the fun really begins when you open the doors, because there is no B-pillar. So I can open the rear door like so, but then I can open the front door like so as well. So no B-pillar at all. Quite remarkable. By the way, I love that it's on the Michelin X tyre pattern. That's lovely. The Lancia hubcaps only the right way up, very occasionally. So let's start at the front. We pop this little latch here, which releases the lid. It's quite difficult to do one-handed. And then, there we go. We are in. Here is the engine. Narrow angle V4, so it's one cylinder head, remarkably like Volkswagen's VR6 engine. But you can see the offset cylinders here. I think it's something like 19 degrees. The later 1.5, they had to narrow the angle, I think, to 17. So beautiful bit of design. Look at the lovely sign here. This is actually a genuine UK Aprilia, UK market from new. They were only sold here for 2 years, from 1937 until 1939, and only a handful of UK cars remain. So this is very unusual. Someone has wisely added some modern indicators, but I think they blend in quite nicely. You'll notice we've got some accident damage here. It has recently been reversed into. The body shop is on call to sort that out, because this car is actually for sale. So it will be looking tippity top for the new owner. Coming round to the other side, we've got the original Zenith carburettor. Quite a lot were upgraded. And there's a lot of mechanical gubbins going on, because there's a hand control for the throttle as well as the pedal. You can see the fan there, right on the back of the radiator. Absolutely lovely. The original build number and more signs. Every 300 miles, inspect the oil level and refill with fresh oil. And a full service every 2,500. And do the gearbox every 5,000. We'll look at the wipers while we're out here. Only the passenger side one is powered, hence the link bar to make both of them go across the screen. And I don't think it would have required it when new, but it does now have washer jets as well and manual control. But you'll see it's quite well travelled. It's got a French auto route sticker. So this is a car with some interesting history. In fact, there are folders of history that come with the car. Huge amount dating back to 1959. So here is the interior of the beast. No B-post. Just taking that majesty again. The Nissan Prairie was not the first. Look at the lovely rear seat. In fact, let's jump aboard into the rear first of all. That gives you the best view forward. And for me, despite this roofline coming down, there is enough headroom It is actually quite comfortable. Got a lovely, huge centre armrest as well. It feels quite dignified. It's a little short of knee room, perhaps, but look, we've got some storage in the backs of the seats as well. Absolutely splendid, beautiful rear lights, umbrella, why ever not. But you can start seeing the rear vision is a bit limited. You've just got these two tiny little windows, and yeah, look at that, with the guide so you can ventilate without getting wet on a rainy day. It's almost like it was designed for the UK market. But if we jump into the front, which we easily do because there's no B post, and if I jump in, yeah, it's just a lovely, comfortable driving position. This enormous steering wheel. Yeah, so it's a very classy driving position here. Got a lovely little clock, speedometer. I think that was the rev counter long ago, no longer functioning. We got the oil pressure as well, and then someone's added some extra gauges, water temperature, amps, and I don't even know what that is. Hydro telecontrol rear, no idea. It's all good fun. There's a little coat of arms here on the wheel. There's switch gear, which some of which we know what it does. This is the indicators, and that's backed up by trafficators. We'll demonstrate those shortly. I think this may be a headlamp flasher, not entirely sure. It's certainly a momentary switch. There is a key, and look at it for a key. It might not be what you expect, because you push this key into the dashboard, at which point the ignition comes on. That is now illuminated, or should be, and you turn it to operate the side lights, headlights and main beam. So that's a little unusual. I shall pull that out so we don't cook the coil while we're waiting. And yeah, it's just absolutely magical, isn't it? We've got a battery cut off here. I think that's a heater down there, so you open up the doors if you want the heater to blow air at you. We've got the starter here. That's screen wash. We don't really know what this one is, or this one. This is a very interesting control. So over this side we've got choke and hand throttle, so you can kind of use that as a rudimentary cruise control, but obviously it won't take geography into account. It's yeah, all very splendid, but look at the details. This beautiful rope door pull, the little pocket here, and something else I love on the driver's door, to stop this getting into your leg, the window winder has a little folding bit on the end of it, so you fold it out and you can wind the window to where you like, and then you ping it in to stop it annoying you, and then we've got the door pull to get back out again. Yeah, what a machine. Oh, if I don't do a wiper demo, I'm going to be in trouble, so let's just pop the ignition on, and then I've got to operate the screen wash by putting this manually under here, which chucks some screen wash onto the screen. Open the glove box, turn the wipers on. Oh, sorry, I hadn't pushed in the ignition enough. There we go. They're absolutely appalling. There doesn't seem to be very good pressure, so I don't think it's really a problem. I don't think anyone is planning to drive this car on a wet day, but yeah, the wiping performance is less than ideal, and I'm going to have to find a cloth so I can clean the windscreen. I'll just pop it on again, because if I operate the indicators, the original semaphore trafficators are still fitted. They're backed up now by flashing lamps front and rear, because no one notices these, but that's a lovely touch, isn't it? Absolutely love it. Right, no seat belts, as you can probably imagine, would be a bit of a technical challenge, I think, but we got the key in the ignition, we pull the starter, and the little V4 engine fires into life and sounds very jolly about life. So into first gear, handbrake all the way down as far as it'll go, and away we go. So it sounds like an old car, but the feel is very different. As people, they say these cars feel like a car from the 1950s, but they're not. This is a 30s car. So you've got quite a big steering wheel as you have in the Traction Avant. That's kind of where the similarities end. I drove one not long after driving a Traction Avant, and the Traction Avant is so heavy to drive because you've got the gearbox and the engine. No synchro mesh, so we have to double the clutch on the downshifts. Upshifts will be interesting, I suspect. Let's see if I can get the mirror somewhere where it needs to be. Marvellous. I've driven quite a few 30s cars. They're often a little pedestrian. If you think of Gertie, the beautiful Austin Heavy 12.4 we drove recently, that was very much a challenge. I mean, okay, to be fair, that was a 1920s design that lingered on into the 30s, but yeah, this must have been amazing. They wouldn't have been cheap cars because they just didn't sell in strong enough numbers. I think in total they sold about 18,000 of these, whereas Citroën obviously sold many more tractions. I have to open my window a little more. It is rather warm today and we don't have a sunshine roof. Even the way it just behaves on the throttle, it just feels much more like a 50s car. Lancia did struggle on for many years, trying to keep engineering at the forefront. Cars like the Aurelia came along, but ultimately they fell into the hands of Fiat. Keep her rolling. Oh, listen to that. Yeah, I mean, it's no ball of fire, but we are going uphill, to be fair. But listen to that induction noise. Minimal filtration on the carburetor, of course. Oh, I think I just managed to accidentally do a clutchless change into top there. The movement is so slight, it feels like you're taking it out of gear. I think I accidentally jumped into top with no gear change, no clutch rather. Oh yeah, the little engine working hard up this very, very big hill. But we're doing an indicated 40, which is all I'm allowed to do here, so we'll ease off a bit. And yeah, the steering is just so accurate in just the way a 30s car usually isn't. And look, I'm not fighting it. It wants to go in a straight line. This car has recently had massive expenditure at one of the noted Lancia specialists. But it is time for it to find a new home. We won't go down there, that says narrow road. I don't fancy tackling a narrow road, especially as I haven't really braked yet. We're going uphill, I don't want to brake at the moment, I'll lose precious momentum. Oh, this runs like an absolute dream. Now, as you can probably tell, especially from this camera angle, it is quite a cozy little car. But nonetheless, let's get ready to get underway again. Out with the opposite flap. Double the clutch and it's super smooth change. I'm just having the time of my life. This is such a beautiful little car. I wish these were on more people's radars because they deserve to be. They are extraordinary machines. Unfortunately, we have got the Lancia Motor Club in the UK. Very, very prominent in promoting the best efforts of the Lancia Motor Company. Oh, isn't that just divine? I've definitely driven 50s cars, but don't drive this well. Oh, how I wish I had the asking price, which I believe is in the region of £35,000. And perhaps that tells you that within classic car circles, they really are valued for what they were. So while the Aprilia was only sold in the UK from 37 to 39, production did continue post-war up till 49, at which point I think it was the Ardea took over. I could be wrong on that. Or was it the Appia? Might be the Appia, which also had pillarless style, but I think actually had a little boot at the back. Oh yeah, bit of a red blip on the downshift does the job. Crunch free. Oh, honestly. So like I say, very rare cars over here. Quite a few have come over, and because Lancia stuck with right-hand drive, because it was a sign of class in Italy, and to have your chauffeur step out straight onto the curb initially, but Lancia just kept on making right-hand drive cars. There's quite a few have come over since, but they're still not a common car here at all. I think we'll go right here. Means I've got a rev match. There we go, that wasn't bad. Just get it turned in. Wow. That noise. Look at that tiny movement between third and fourth. It is a weird idiosyncrasy that there is no synchromesh on the gearbox, because in engineering terms everything here is so good, but perhaps Lancia just felt that synchromesh at the time it wasn't necessarily all that good, so maybe it was better not to have it at all. And certainly the performance of this gearbox so far, I don't think we can doubt them. But poor Vincenzo, I mean, he was not one of those who made a million from building cars, I don't think, because he always went to the next level with the engineering. He never really engineered with profit in mind. I drove one of these cars a very long time ago, like I said, recently after driving a Traction Avant, and that was for a magazine feature. It must have been 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. The torque, it's at 1.3, slogging his way up this hill, no bother. And it was such a joyous experience. I've been desperate to get one on camera, and this is why. They're just absolutely delightful. Yeah, I'm not approaching these bends with trepidation at all. I'm just, round she goes. And it's so smooth and so refined. Quite extraordinary. It's only really that first gear noise that gives it away, isn't it? That's just not how you expect a 1930s engine to go. Oh, those double declutches are so satisfying if you get them right. Full stop though into first. Oh, the feel is just extraordinary. There's no play in that gear lever at all. It's quite long, but very, very precise. And this handling, oh. I apologise if it feels like I'm just raving about this car, but it is that nice to drive. There we go, we're cruising at the limit of 50 miles an hour. She feels like she's got plenty to give. People must have had their minds blown back in the day. Oh, this is so nice. So synchromesh helps the the gear shafts achieve the same speed, it gives a lovely smooth gear change. It took quite a long time to get that technology right. Porsche played quite a part with what they called bulk ring synchromesh, B-A-U-L-K, and yeah, they patented that and licensed it to a lot of people. I'm gonna have to do a quick, there you go. So you have to double declutch when you've got no synchromesh. So what that means is you release the clutch pedal as you go through the neutral position, and again going back up the gearbox as well. But you have to also raise the engine revs, so you're doing a bit of rev matching, and when it goes well with the right gearbox, it's an absolute joy. And this one is that, it's absolutely joyous. I've just noticed it's got sun visors, which if I put down, block the entire windscreen. Not sure how useful that one is. I'm getting held up by modern traffic in this 1939 Lancia. That tells you something, doesn't it? I really haven't mentioned that the handling is also really good. It's a little agricultural at times perhaps, but oh, this is a big hill. Oh, I nailed the downshift. That is satisfying. Oh, this is narrow. And the other thing I haven't mentioned is the brakes. The brakes are, for their time, superb. Obviously by modern standards they're lacking, but this car seems to do pretty much everything well.
Excellent.
Well, that right there has to be one of my favourite drives. What an extraordinary car. You kind of have to remember that the brakes are 1930s because the rest of it feels so darn good. Just an incredible machine. I think they look absolutely amazing and they're joyous to drive. So someone will make a happy home of this. Oh, by the way, there's a reason it's this colour. It was originally black, as was almost everything in the 1930s. So why is it this colour? And this is why. It's because of Tintin. Here's a green one in this story. This is Tintin, the Land of Black Gold. And Lancia Aprilia takes centre stage. So there we go. Thanks ever so much for watching. Thanks to Pete and his bus for facilitating this. You may recognise the barn in the background. He's behind the sale of this very car. And we're going to have a chat with Pete and see what he's up to with buses, because that seems the thing to do while we're here. That will be in a future video. But otherwise, we shall see you again. Farewell.